I just want it to be off my physical TBR.
You know, I absolutely love Logan.
If you open up the dictionary, find groveling, John Logan.
You could do that 100 times over and then be obsessed.
Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you do not follow me on Instagram, you may not be aware, but about 3 months ago, I started my absolute dream job as a bookstore manager. It has been such a wild ride. I am having the absolute best time, but learning anything new is time consuming and taxing on your energy. So I haven't really invested much in my own personal content, which is really sad because I absolutely love it. And I thought what better way to enter back into creating YouTube videos than to film how many pages I can read in a week or what I'm reading in a week as a bookstore manager. I would say that since I started my job, my reading has fluctuated depending on how busy I am in certain weeks, but I just thought it would be really interesting to see how much I can actually read in a week when I'm putting an effort to try and read as much as I can. By no means am I reading an insane amount of books a week, but it is kind of my job to stay up to date with the new books that are coming out, things that people are talking about, and have fresh and new books to recommend. So now that I've been in my job a few months and I'm sort of like I've learned the reins now, I do want to get back into reading consistently, creating my own content as well. So we are back and I could not be happier. At the moment this week, I technically only have one specific book on my agenda, and that is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Unless you have been living under a rock, you are aware that The Deal has gotten, well, the Off-Campus series has gotten a TV show deal with Prime Video, and on Wednesday this week, I think season 1 comes out all in one go. Crazy. I kind of loved when they did the Summer I Turned Pretty episode by episode and you got to obsess over it over such a long time, but at this point I'll take what we can get. My friend Lucy read this series in college time and is really excited for the season to come out, and so I really want to watch it with her and my other friend Hallie. So I have been binging so I can try and finish. Today is Monday and we are watching it on Wednesday night, so I have 2 days to finish it. Today is my day off, so I work Tuesday to Saturday as my 5-day work week, I guess, and then I have Sunday, Monday off. So today is Monday. I've got plenty of time to get some reading done, so I would love to smash most of it out today, if not finish it, depending on how slightly ambitious, but we'll see how we go. Because once the work week starts, I definitely find I read a lot less, so I do like to get a lot of my reading done on Sundays and Mondays. I started this morning on chapter 10 and I'm now up to chapter 17. It is 2 p.m. so I've done most of the admin work and cleaning, apartment, housework, life work, things that I had to do this morning already. So for the rest of the afternoon, I have no set plans. So I think I might go for a walk, go to the park. I don't know, I'm considering my options. I might go read in the park, I might read on the couch, I'm not really sure. I've been in the apartment all day, so I would really love to just get out of the apartment and keep reading. My thoughts so far on The Deal, and I went in with really low expectations. Like, I'm aware that this book was written 10 years ago and that I'm gonna go in with low expectations. What I have seen about The Deal, because a lot of people are reading it now before the show comes out, is that it is not very well written, but you'll have a good time. And so those are the expectations that I went in with. I'm currently, my Kobo says I'm 36% in. I would say that's a fairly accurate statement. I am finding it very easy to read. There is definitely some red ink that I'd be putting on these pages if I was editing it, you know? But that's fine. It's definitely giving the Wattpad kind of era. I expected that going in. I think if you went in expecting crazy things, you'd probably be disappointed. But because that's what I was expecting out of it, I'm not super bummed. We'll just see how we go. I'm thinking it's going to be one I can definitely easily binge. This is the TV cover, by the way. And so far, it has actually been really enjoyable to read about these characters and have the actors in my brain to have a very visual picture of who I'm reading about. So I have really enjoyed that, and I am really looking forward to watching the show on Wednesday night with the girls. So I'm going to lock into this, and then as far as the rest of the week goes, I have a lot of books on my radar, but I don't really know which ones specifically I'm going to pick up. And I just feel like the world is my oyster. I will check in a bit later once I am further into The Deal, but somehow my goal is to finish this today. about 3 hours of reading. I have never felt so locked in, and I think it's cause it's silly, goofy fun that I'm just having the best time and I don't want to stop having the best time, and I'm not having to use my brain too much. I don't really know, but we are genuinely so locked in. I'm at 83%. I don't even know. I am starting to get tired, but I have a feeling if I locked in, I could finish this tonight, which would be so fun. I don't know why, I just feel like that would be a great sense of accomplishment if I could. So I'm gonna continue reading now and see how we go. We have just gotten to the third act breakup situation, which I obviously saw coming. And in a college romance, I think it's a whole lot more realistic to have a third act breakup because miscommunication and whatnot is a whole lot more realistic in college. Do you know what I mean? So I saw it coming, but it's still annoying. But anyway, I'm at 83%. I'm going to keep reading. Fingers crossed we can finish this tonight so that tomorrow we can start fresh with a new book.
Do you know who I love? Do you know who I absolutely love? Logan. I know it's not his book. I know it's not his book. I don't even know which book is his, but I love Logan. I have a feeling. Okay, Logan's book off campus series. It's book 2. Yes! I just think he's so funny. Indeed. There is one thing. Like hockey romances and college romances are not something I read a whole lot of, but one thing that I absolutely love is the frat boy house, which is crazy because you would genuinely not think that would be something I'd be interested in. But I love the banter. I love that they have each other's back. I love the friendship that they have in a world where it seems like they just would have zero emotions. I absolutely love it. And I eat it up every time. Tucker is also really sweet. He's definitely like the sweetie pie. Dean is definitely, I don't know how to describe Dean in a word that's appropriate. Oh. I kind of love them all. I love them all. There's 5 books. At the moment, there's only 4 men. Who are the 5 books about? I just googled it because I was so interested, and book 5 is a collection of 4 novellas about the 4 couples, which makes a lot of sense because I was really confused why there's 4 guys in this friend group of 5 books. That makes a whole lot more sense. This really just is one of those things you can't explain until you read a book like this, but it is not good and I'm having the best time. I'm just giggling. Like I think that what I do like about it is that their chemistry is really good. The writing, the plot, like all of it is very cheesy. Their chemistry is off the charts. way that this chapter, what chapter is this? Chapter 24, for those wondering. We are going between simultaneously the most wholesome and most raunchy thing I've ever read. Like the whiplash I'm getting right now, it's crazy. Like 1 second I'm giggling and 1 second I want to bawl my eyes out. But I'm having the best time.
It is currently Thursday night, which means I have not updated you on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's now Thursday night. That is unfortunately just the reality that I am currently living, where I work full time, and my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays can just be really long days for some reason. And typically when I'm that busy as well, I tend to lean more towards an audiobook. And to be honest, I really wasn't in the mood to pick up a book that I was really excited about, because I knew I had a big few days and I knew I was going to be tired. And so I looked at my TBR and went, what do I not care that much about that I can just sort of listen to and whatever. So I decided to start the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I had really low hopes for this book. I don't know why. I didn't love The Friend Zone, which is the first book in this interconnected series, and the trope that is in this book is finding new love after loss and grief. And so I have weird feelings about that trope. I don't know. So I was really nervous. Let me do the math for you. I started this on Tuesday. I listened to 7 chapters, which was this many pages. And then on Wednesday, yesterday, I only listened to 4 chapters, and that is because Off Campus came out. And oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway, side note. But we watched Off Campus last night. We watched 2 episodes. So good. Because of that, I did very little reading, but today I've binged the rest of it. I'm almost done. Crazy. I think I only have like 40 minutes left of the audiobook, which is insane. And I just got home from work. Anyway, I don't 100% know how I feel about this book. At the start, I was really enjoying it. I thought this is really wholesome and sweet, and the male main guy is really lovely, and she's finding her life, and I felt like it was written really well for a romance, and it felt like it had that Abby Jimenez spark that I really love. It's starting to not completely lose me, but just like a little bit. I have 5 chapters and the epilogue left. I just don't love some of the decisions we've just made. Oh, I don't know. If you want to go into this book blind and know nothing, like I'm not going to give spoilers, but I'm just going to give you more context than like skip forward to this time. But the context for this book is that the male main character is a singer, and he is sort of in this up and coming part of his career, and he is going on tour. So by the time that they actually get together and in a relationship, he starts going on tour. And so they now have to deal with that long distance, tired, she's on tour, she's not on tour, like all this stuff. It's just like not relatable. Like I love reading a romance and relating, and I just fear I don't relate to dating a rock star or whatever he is. And the book just kind of lost me once we got to that part. I think this book would be so good if we took that out. He doesn't need to be this singer. We've already got her grief and overcoming grief to find love again as a primary conflict. We don't also need him being a rock star. I don't know. I just don't love when there's famous people, like quote unquote famous characters in books, like characters that are famous fictional people. I don't love it in a standard rom-com. Like I love The Favourites by Lane Fargo and whatever, but even say in When in Rome, didn't love the fact that she was a pop singer. Love that book, love that series, but the pop singer part is just like, I just don't relate. Like, oh sorry, you're tired. I don't know. It's just not for me. And the last like 20% of this book has been focused around that part of the plot. If you don't like a 3rd act breakup, I strongly urge you to not read this, because we have had kind of a 3rd act breakup and then almost like a 3.5 act breakup. I just can't handle this anymore. The more I'm talking about this, the more angry I'm getting. The point of this book, and the point of a book like this that is talking about such a serious topic of finding love after loss and the grief of it all, I feel like we moved on kind of quickly. Like not really. I think it was done quite well in the first half, but then we've kind of just moved on and now we have other issues, and I think it just would have been really nice if it was done differently, and that the issues and the 3rd act breakup to do with the fact that she didn't feel like she was ready, and then we got over it. You know what I mean? But our issue is the fact that he's on tour, and I'm just like, guys, did we really make it some trivial thing? I just don't care for all of the famous person side of this book, but I have loved everything else. I have loved the way that they handled the grief. I've loved the way that they've handled female friendship. I love the way that they have handled like his character up until this point. The fame stuff's just losing me. So if that bothers you in a book, I'm not sure I recommend this one, but if that doesn't bother you, maybe you would like it. But I'm just really struggling, and it sucks because I was loving it before that, and now I'm just like, well, how are you gonna come back from this? Like, this is the kind of 3rd act breakup that I'm like, why are we being so dramatic? Because coming back from this, you're gonna have to be creative. Like, you're gonna have to convince me really well about how we're coming back from this, because it feels like, honestly, in the real world, you would not come back from the 3rd act breakup situation. So unless there is some insane work gonna be done in the next 5 chapters, I'm just not convinced, which is really unfortunate because I thought that I was loving it, and I was loving it, and I just don't love. I didn't know he was famous. I didn't read the back of the book. It's not even on the back of the book. Oh wait, he's a musician on tour. It's on the back of the book. That's my fault for not reading that. But that is my current rant about this book. I've just been reading it over the past few days. Normally I wouldn't finish a book this quick, I would say. So I am speeding through it, but this ending is just bothering me. And I need it to be done so it can be off my physical TBR. That's how I'm currently feeling about it, which is really unfortunate. Anyway, I only have, like I said, 4 chapters left. I will probably listen to it while I cook dinner or something, and then we will move on. And I'm probably gonna then spend the rest of the night continuing to watch Off Campus. My reward for finishing this is gonna be watching more of Off Campus, which I'm so excited. So I need to lock in. It's currently 7:05. So by the time I shower, put this on, cook dinner, it'd be 8 o'clock, and then we can watch 1 or 2 episodes of the deal. Are they calling the seasons by the book names? Off Campus. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I just want it to be off my physical TV at this point, and we're gonna accomplish that today, and then we'll figure out what we're reading next. At least by the end of the day, this will be off my physical TBR. And that in itself is a win. Side note, I just realized that I have leftover pizza in the fridge. So all I have to do to cook dinner is put this in the air fryer. That's possibly the best news ever. I just completely forgot. That's so exciting. Good morning. I currently feel half asleep, which is great because I have to leave for work in like 15 minutes. But I thought I'd give you a reading update from yesterday before I race off to work. As you will have seen, I very randomly decided to start Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I've been putting off that book for the longest time for genuinely no good reason. Like, I think it's one of the longest standing books on my physical TBR that I have not read. Frederick Bachman is one of my favorite authors, and I have read like maybe 5 or 6 of his books, and I've got 5 or 6 left. And it's just one of those things where for some reason I keep putting off his books because as soon as I finish his entire backlist, there's no more new books until he releases a new book. So I kind of want to spread it out so I'm not, you know, binging through them and then I have no new Frederick Bachman to read. So I've been putting off picking up another one of his books for a while now, and I picked up Anxious People yesterday, and it is just insane how quickly it felt like home. Like, his writing, instantly jumping back in, I know it's him and I just know his writing and I just absolutely love it, and it is just the most comforting feeling. I ended up reading up to chapter 11, which was this many pages. I feel like it would have been really smart for me to do the math as I go, but in all reality I just don't think I have time for that during the week. So I've just been writing down in my notes at what chapter I started at and finished at each day, so I can go back and do the math and then let you know how many pages I read while I'm editing, because math is not my strong suit and I don't want to be doing that every day. And it will be interesting at the end of the week to do the math and be like, oh, which days did I read the most of and whatnot. Anyway, if you don't know what Anxious People is about, all I know so far is that it is about an apartment block, and there's a bunch of people inspecting this apartment block with this real estate agent, and then it becomes a hostage situation and there is a man with a weapon, and that's all I really know. I'm only, like I said, 11 chapters in, but the chapters are really short, so I think I'm only 10% in roughly. So I don't know anything other than the fact that I just love his writing. I'm having the best time and I think it's going to be easy for me to binge. Oh wait, I completely forgot. Last night made the most sporadic decision to continue the off-campus series because I read the entire book on the weekend and then I binged the entire show and I finished it last night, and I am a Logan girl. I haven't read his book yet, but from book 1 and now the show, I'm a Logan girl, and his book is book 2. I just need to read this ASAP, and I keep seeing, I'm not going to rant about it for too long, but I keep seeing so many spoilers on my social media for other things that happen in the series, and it's just so annoying because I understand that the series has been out for 10 plus years, so there's going to be things that sort of you're not going to be able to hide. The content has been out for 10 years, so the part of it's like, yeah, sure, you know, what is a spoiler? But like, even with series like Throne of Glass, there are so many new people reading those series all the time. There should not
not be spoilers, or you should be having spoiler-free warning on your video. And you have to know that because of the TV show that's come out, so many people are reading this series now for the first time so that they can watch the show. And to spoil very, very serious things is so annoying. Anyway, I digress. So in that vein, I decided I just need to read the series as quick as possible so that I stop seeing things, because I keep seeing more and more things and it's so annoying. So I actually started Mistake by Elle Kennedy last night, and I mustn't have read many pages. I read this many pages. So all up, I read this many pages on Friday. I don't know why I forgot about that. Oh, because I did it at like 11 o'clock at night last night. That is very funny. I'm not sure which I'm going to continue today. I do have to work today, sadly, but I finish at around 3 o'clock, and then I'm driving back to the coast to my parents' house for Saturday night and Sunday. So I feel like perfect opportunity for me to get a lot of reading done and relax. It's like a little vacation. I doubt I'm going to finish both books. Like that would be a bit of a hard task, but we'll see how we go. I'll read on my lunch break today, maybe at the cafe before work if I get there with enough time. We'll see. I have absolutely zero thoughts about The Mistake yet for Elle Kennedy, because I genuinely only read a very small amount of pages last night before I passed out. So I'll give you further updates if I'm still a John Logan girl by the time I actually finish his book. I don't know why. I'm just drawn to his character and I can't fully explain it, but it'll be interesting to see if I'm as drawn to his character once I read his book in his sort of POV. Will be very interesting. I am back in my old bedroom at my parents' house and I am locking in to read. It is currently 10:30 p.m. A little bit later than I would like to be staying up, but I am going to continue to read for a bit more because it's the weekend and I'm going to treat myself. I'm currently 22% into The Mistake, which is book 2 in the off-campus series. I feel like everyone knows about it. It's not a groundbreaking book recommendation or anything like that, especially with the show out at the moment. I can't remember if I was saying this in the last clip, but I am a John Logan girl. Do you know who I love? Do you know who I absolutely love? Logan. I am a Logan girl. And I haven't even read his book. That is purely based off all of his cameos and side character nature in The Deal. I loved him. Like the favorite out of the 4 boys. And then I watched the show and it just made me fall so much more in love with his character, and I'm just obsessed. To set the scene for you, all I've been doing all day is listening to Antonio's musical theatre music on Spotify, and then sending, where's my messages with Tegan? Sending so many, oh my gosh, I need to find the top of today. Sending so, wait, you can't even see it. These are all videos that Tegan and I have been sending to each other because she is a Dean girl and I'm a Logan girl. And we've just been sending so many videos back and forth and it's just so fun. It's feeling very Summer I Turned Pretty-esque, where everyone is just obsessed, and I'm so glad I decided to read the books before I read the show so that I could sort of watch this and be as obsessed as I am. The show is so good, and like I said in my last clip, I just kept getting spoilers and I didn't want any more, so I am deciding to power through and keep reading the series. I have also got Anxious People on the go and I'll probably read some of that tomorrow, but I didn't really want to read Frederick Bachman before bed. I want to be awake and fully present, and when I'm reading Frederick Bachman, I want to be fully digesting it. Something like The Mistake and The Deal and Off-Campus series, I'm very happy to have as a before bed book. So I don't know, I'm having the best time. I just really like him as a main character. And so far I really love Grace. The dynamic that Logan and Grace already have 20% in, I absolutely love. It feels like every college girl's fantasy. Like Elle Kennedy went, what do I wish happened to me in college, and wrote this book, because Grace is a freshman, wants to get out and party, wants to talk to boys and do these things, but it's just like not really happening for her. And then John Logan accidentally knocks on her door. Accidentally, like you're talking popular, hockey, hot dude, just knocks on her door by accident and then decides to start watching movies with her. Like, it's so unbelievable. But if you're able to suspend your disbelief and just be like, wow, imagine if that happened to me in college, like that would be so fun. And I think that's what is so good about these books, is that they are so unrealistic and the writing's not amazing, but they are what everyone wished happened to them in college. Like, everyone wished they lived with a friend group like this, with this kind of dynamic, with this sort of dating, and I think that's why it's so good, is because everyone wants it. I'm going to read a bit more now. I'm up to chapter 9. So I'm just going to sit here and read, and then I will let you know in the morning how many pages I end up reading. Strongly dislike Grace's best friend.
so gorgeous, and I don't know why I love it so much, but I just do. It is now Sunday morning and I'm about to race off to some kind of market or something with my parents. I'm not really sure, but I thought I'd give you a reading update. Last night I got to chapter 20 of The Mistake. I was reading in bed until I think around 11:30. Having the best time. I think I got 50% of the way through the book, and let me tell you, I am having the best time. I really went into this series with such low expectations. I know it's such a popular series, but a lot of people do say that the writing's just not great. It's great fun, but like nothing crazy, and I will say that that is true. But because I went in with such low expectations, I am just having the best time. I'm not really reading into the fact that the writing's not great. I'm just loving the tension, the chemistry, the college vibes, everything. So my prediction was that I was gonna be a John Logan girl. Like I said previously, I loved him as a side character in The Deal, and I love him in the TV show. Reading this, picturing Antonio in my head, knowing what the frat house looks like, knowing who they have as Grace for the actor, just it's all making it such a film in my head, and I'm having the best time. Writing aside, like I don't want my thoughts of this for you to think that I think this is some amazing piece of work. I think this book is perfect and this series is perfect for what it is, and that is a fun college rom-com. Like I said, my prediction was I'm gonna be a John Logan girl. Boy, am I right. I love a man down bad. I love a man groveling. I think that John Logan might have invented the word groveling. Like if you open up the dictionary, find groveling, John Logan. And I love Grace. Grace is so fun. She's such a fun character. She holds her own with someone like John Logan, who is this popular hockey dude. Like she really holds her own, and I absolutely love that for her because she's a little bit younger, and you would think that she would be this, I don't know, insecure, but she's just so confident and so funny and so bubbly and so rambly and chatty and chaotic, and I absolutely adore her. I'm just having the best time. I've been reading more this morning. I'm at 73%. I don't know what is in these books. I have not finished a book in under 48 hours in a very long time, but I finished The Deal Monday. That was only on Monday. I finished The Deal. I'd read 20% of it and I read the next 80% the next day on Monday. Same thing is happening. When I got into bed last night, I was at 20%. I'm now at 73. Like how on earth did that happen? Oh, I forgot to say how many pages. Because I got up to chapter 20 last night, this is how many pages I read on Saturday. I think it's so funny that I have no idea how well I'm doing and that I'm not going to know my page count at the end of the video because I can't be bothered to do the math. Oh, I need to write down that I was up to chapter 20. We're finishing this today. There is no reality where I don't finish this. I've only got 27% left. I have zero concerns about the fact I'm going to finish this today. It's nothing serious, it's nothing crazy, but I'm having the best time. So if you want something that is silly, goofy, if you have not read this series and you want to watch the show, I kind of love that I haven't read it till now. I think it's really special for the people that read it in their college time, obsessed with it, now get the show. I think that's a really, really nice thing to be able to have and to experience. But for me, who read the first book 2 days before the show came out, it just felt like perfect timing. If you hadn't read it in college, I'm just glad that I read it before the show, because now what's happening is I read that first book, obsessed, went into the season knowing what was going on for season 1, and now as I read the rest of the series, I know what all the actors look like, so I'm picturing them in my head. I know what the set looks like, I know the vibe. Everything is so perfect and clear in my head, so I feel like I'm just watching a movie. And now it's making me so excited for their season. I don't know what they're doing with season 2 and season 3 with Ali and Dean, and if you've seen it, you kind of know that we don't really know what's going on, because they have announced that Grace Ivers is going to be in season 2, and the actor that plays John Logan, Antonio, did a call with her and was like, do you want to come do season 2 with me? What I think they're gonna do, if you don't want to know anything about the TV show or the series, skip to this point here, but I think they're gonna have, because at the start of this book they have the mistake that he makes. I think they're gonna have the mistake in this season, then we're gonna do Ali and Dean's season, and then season 3 is gonna be him groveling from the mistake. I would actually really enjoy that, because we've just done so much momentum in season 1 on Ali and Dean. It would feel so weird if next season isn't their season, but I think we need John Logan and Grace to like start now. So I think we're gonna start next season with Ali and Dean drama. John Logan figuring out his story, meets Grace, makes the mistake. Then we go back to Ali and Dean with time passing. You still see John Logan like being sad, confused, figuring stuff out. And then season 3 is him groveling. I would absolutely love that. Anyway, we're about to head off to the markets, but I will be definitely getting some reading done later, and I will update you once I am further into the mistake. Mistake earlier tonight. I read the final 27% in one sitting while I was in the bar, so I didn't really film my reactions because that isn't the most appropriate thing to do. However, oh my gosh, I ate every second of it up, and I was expecting to, but not in that kind of way. I think I'm gonna go with a 4.25. I know that's really fussy. However, the writing is still just like not great, so I can't be giving it a 5 star, but everything about the characters I absolutely loved. Everything about the college aspect, it really felt like a true rom-com. Absolutely devoured it. I think I pretty much gave all my thoughts on why I love John Logan and this book. 30% to go. However, I'm trying to think of anything that happened in the last 30% that I specifically love. What I really liked that was different in this book is that, technically speaking, we don't get a third act breakup, because the way that this is, I guess, the plot is structured. Early on, when Logan and Grace meet, he messes up, you know, he makes a mistake, hence the mistake. And then he's groveling the entire book to make up for it. So we don't really get a proper third act breakup. We get like little things that they have to work out along the way. But the third act breakup kind of happens 30% into the book, and then he's groveling the whole time, and I absolutely loved that. And I was really nervous that we were going to get another third act breakup, and I just wasn't going to believe it, because anything that happened that was like him not wanting her, like it was so clear that he did, that if we switched up and had some third act breakup, I would have been pissed, because they both clearly were in love with each other and clearly have already worked out their differences and what went wrong earlier on. So if we got another third act breakup, I think I would have been really pissed. And rest assured, we did not. So if you don't like a third act breakup, but you do like a little bit messy and then working on it in development, I think you would really love The Mistake. So far, I like it better than The Deal. I don't necessarily know if it's a better book than The Deal, but I just think it suited my preferences better than The Deal. I mean, I love the hockey captain, fake dating, everything from The Deal, but just everything that is John Logan's character, everything that is Grace's character is my cup of tea in a romance book. So I think just personally, that's why it's currently my favorite. I think it'll be hard to top in the series. And speaking of which, it is 9:30 on Sunday night. I think I'm gonna start The Score, which is book 3, which is Dean and Ali's book. Like I said earlier, I've just seen so many spoilers. I would just love to get to the end of the series so I know everything, so I fully scroll and not have anything spoiled. I also think that this is like right book, right time. And that if I picked up this series at a different time when the show wasn't happening and the hype wasn't happening, I might not be as obsessed, because the writing is not amazing. But I think that because everyone's talking about it, I'm texting all my friends about it, the show, I'm picturing all the actors in my head, it is the perfect time for me to read it and be obsessed with it. So I think I need to ride this momentum and just keep reading it. I did technically start Anxious People, but I think I'm just going to delay that until I've finished this series. And I'm just going to binge it. I'm going to go with The Score. And then if I'm really feeling like it, I'll go with the next one, which is Tucker's book, and I have no idea what that's called. I'm just going to quickly get ready for bed, and then we're going to get into The Score. I have heard that this is the spiciest book out of all of them, which makes me nervous, because the spice is not necessarily my favorite part of these books. I love the chemistry between the characters, don't get me wrong, but spice is not my favorite thing in a book. I think after watching season 1 and seeing Dean and Ali, I think this book is going to be so good because of that, and I'm glad that I can picture the actors in my head when I'm reading the book. I will update you in the morning with how many pages we get to, and then how many we've read for the whole week. At this current point, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like we've read a lot of pages, and a lot more probably than I would normally read. I think that the off-campus series has really inspired me to pick up my Kobo, because I just wanted to be in the loop and be obsessed, and I was obsessed, and I've been having the best time. They're also books that are really easy to binge, so it's really allowed me to be able to read that much more. I am going to dive into The Score, and then I will update you in the morning how much we actually end up reading. Having a mental picture of Dean De Laurentiis and Ali Hayes in my head from the show while reading this book is just insane. And because in season 1 we get a lot of their story that doesn't happen in book 1 or 2, like it happens in here, so I kind of already know things about them, and I've seen their chemistry and their connection in the show. So I'm just giggling from literally page 13, because I already am so obsessed with them. Whereas if I started this book and I didn't really know who they were yet, I feel like I wouldn't be that obsessed. Like, I know them from book 1 and 2, but not an insane amount, you know? Not in the way that we do from season 1, i.e. JLo dancing. Iconic. Anywho. Oh, I just love, my favorite thing about a college romance, specifically a college sports romance, is the found family element of the boys and the sports team and the frat house, and just how they all give each other so much shit, but are all so loyal and so open with their emotions at the same time as being just jokesters and life of the party. I think it's such a fun dynamic, and I just eat it up every time. Like, you could do that 100 times over and I'd be obsessed. A week has finally come to an end, and honestly, I don't remember the last time I read this much in a week. So whilst this is technically how much I read in the week as a bookstore manager and working, I do feel that the off-campus series took over my life, and it really made me crave reading more and want to binge them. So I just want to preface that the amount of pages I'm about to tell you that I completely read, it's probably not what I would do every week, but I also was so happy that I read this much, and I really want to keep trying to continue this moving forward. So I thought we could do a little recap. I know you just watched it, but for me, I haven't actually done the math yet. So all the numbers you saw, I have no idea. So I did the math, and I thought we could go through it together as a recap, and then I'll tell you the final number. So on Monday, I read 288 pages of The Deal, which I think I was around 20% in, and I just read the rest of the book. Binged it. Never binged something so easily in my life. I'm so happy I did, because I read it before the show. No, it wasn't the best written thing ever, but they had such good chemistry, and I had a really good time. Really fun, very college vibes. Absolutely loved it. I think I gave it a 3.5 star because I wasn't obsessed, but it was so bingeable, so easy to read, addictive, funny. 10 out of 10 for what it's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Monday is my day off, so reading 288 pages physically is mainly because it was my day off. I will say that. I don't work Sundays and Mondays. So anyway, then on Tuesday, I started the Happy Ever After playlist on audio, and I got through 48 pages. Then on Wednesday, got through 28 pages. That was off-campus release day. So really, I started to be preoccupied with other things. Then on Thursday, I did a heavy audiobook day. There was just some tasks I remember doing where it was heavy audiobook listening, and I just became hooked. Happy Ever After playlist. So I did 294 pages on that day, but it was all on audio. I think I already ranted about this book a bit, but in case I didn't, I'm gonna rant more. I enjoyed the first 60% pretty thoroughly. I was thinking, hey, this might be a 4-star. I was really nervous about this book, and I actually am really enjoying it. Last 30 to 40%, this is a hill, down it, like so far down the hill, rolling, further down, like into the deep sea. And I understand that is being a tad dramatic, but I just feel like they had such a good plot line, such good characters, such good topic, and we just lost it completely at the end. I did not enjoy the end of it. I did not enjoy the choices our characters made. And here's the thing, I don't believe that in order to enjoy a book, you need to wholeheartedly agree with everything the characters do. I love Magnolia Parks and The Favorites, so like that's definitely not a criteria for me. However, what I don't like is that the decisions that were made by these characters did not fit the character development and the arc that they were given. So it just felt really out of character for these characters to do the things that they did. And so that it just felt really out of place. It felt really incoherent. It felt like I'd spent 70% of the book getting to know these characters, really liking them. And then the author just went, actually, you're going to do this completely different thing that now is really not great. And then we're just going to forgive you for it. Like, that makes no sense to me. I did not enjoy the end of it. Would probably not recommend, which is really hard because I love Abby Jimenez, and I would still recommend the Part of Your World series all the time to people. But I just personally would not recommend her other series. It's so unfortunate because the only book I've got left in her discography is Life's Too Short, which is the 3rd book in the Friend Zone series. So I think I want to read it just to be like done with it, and it is on my physical TBR, but I also just have no desire to read it. So we'll see how we go with that. Anywho, on Friday, started to feel a bit indecisive. I've had a very romance heavy week. I may be in the mood for some lit fic, so I started Anxious People and I read 29 pages of it. And then before bed I went, I really want to read John Logan's book, and I think I read 13 pages of it before I went to bed. So on Friday we read 42 pages. Fridays are a really big day. I do open to close in the shop, and it's one of our busier days, so often I don't get as much reading done, but I read on my lunch break and I read before bed, so that was more of a realistic kind of day. Then on Saturday I worked, but I finished at 3 o'clock. I read 144 pages of The Mistake. I am such a John Logan girl, and I just could not put it down. I could not put it down. I was reading until 11:30 at night, which is unlike me, and I just was having the absolute best time. So I read like half the book on that day. Zero complaints about it. I already went on way too long about how much I love The Mistake, so I'm not going to bore you again. Moving on. And then we have Sunday, which was yesterday, which is my other day off in the week. So really is another day that I'm going to get most of my reading done. I finished The Mistake, so I read the last 150 pages of that. And then I ended up starting The Score last night, as you would have seen. I ended up reading 51 pages of it, which means on Sunday, I read 201 pages. That is pretty good. I have been really trying to read most of my pages on the days that I have off. Like, if I was to tell you the hours that I worked on these different days, which might make it feel a bit better. Monday, 288 pages. no hours worked. Tuesday, 48 pages, 9.5 hours worked. Wednesday, 28 pages, 9.5 hours worked. Thursday, 294 pages. I start at 10 on a Thursday. And so I did like 10 till 6. So I read more, but I had a lot more time in the morning. Then on Friday, 8:45 to 6:15, I only read 42 pages. Then on Saturday, I do 8:45 till 3 I finished. So I read 144 pages, but I had that whole afternoon off. And then on Sunday, no hours worked. I read 201 pages. So whilst I read a lot during the week, on the days that I work, where I work an entire day, I am not reading a lot. I get home and I crash. And that's pretty much that. But I have been really trying to make an effort to have intentional reading time on my days off or on the days where I'm not working a full day. Wait, I need to do the math. This is too much math. Okay. In total, that brings us to 1,045 pages, which I can't believe I actually managed to read that much this week. I haven't read that much in a week in a really long time. So I am really happy with that. I would love to keep this going and keep this trend going. I think next week I'm still going to read a lot because I'm going to keep reading the off-campus series. I think it's the kind of series that at the wrong time, I could probably hate it and not think it was very good. But because of the show at the moment, because I'm in this mood and I'm hyperfixating of the characters, I can envision it. Like I was saying earlier, I just want to binge it while I'm loving it because I tend to love and prefer good writing and well-written stories and emotional depth and all these things. And so if the Caitlin in a few months is preferring lit fit, heavy, complex stories, and then I try and pick up the off-campus series again, I just don't think it's going to hit the same. So I have some other things I do need to read, but I think I am just going to finish Dean's book and then Tucker's book so that I can at least be like, I've read the off-campus series, I read it all in this time and I loved it for what it was, and then we move on. You know, I have had the best time this week and I hope you've enjoyed having a little bit of insight into what I read and how much I can read as a bookstore manager. I do want to do one of these where the reading and the books I'm doing is a lot more influenced by what I'm doing. This week was heavily influenced by off-campus, which I think is pretty natural with everything that's going on. But I would love to do one of these again when I'm reading books that are a lot more, my reading is being influenced by the fact that I'm a bookstore manager, because it definitely can tailor and impact what I choose to read. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. Regardless, thank you so much for watching. I am so happy to be back posting on YouTube and filming this content, and hopefully we are back for good. I'm gonna hold myself accountable, so I will see you in the next one. Bye.